Cool. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I am Councilmember Brandon Johnson. It's my pleasure to be here to help announce what's always good to announce, new jobs here in the city of Wichita, and especially in District 1. I do want to acknowledge, you'll hear from the mayor later. He's here, and also Councilmember Tuttle is joining us from District 2, which is right down the street. So thank you both for being here. Again, it's my privilege. I want to thank you all also for being here today. This is not our normal space where these briefings happen. We took a quick trip around town, from downtown over here, to this growing software technology company, Keycentrix. So we're pleased that they invited us here to share some of this really good news about a technology company that's growing, one that just nationally was recognized with an award that puts them alongside CVS, Walmart, and Humana in exemplifying excellence in improving electronic prescription accuracy. We're also thrilled to add well-paying jobs to our city and grow our presence in the tech sector. Many of you know that one of our goals has been diversifying our economy. Today's announcement is another step towards doing that in the ever-growing tech sector. So with that, we do have some partners here that will come up and continue to discuss this great news. But for now, I'd like to ask Luis Rodriguez to come up and share with us this company's announcement.
Thank you. This is new to me, so if I look amateur, it's because I am. On behalf of all the employees at Keycentrix and CGCBI, thanks to Mayor Whipple, Councilmember Johnson, Councilmember Tuttle for coming today, and all the other dignitaries that are with us. I'm also excited to welcome Dr. Cherie Utash from WSU Tech and Andrew Nave from the Greater Wichita Partnership. We're really proud of the tremendous work they do to help job growth in our city. And just a little bit about us, it's been uncertain times for everyone, of course, and we've seen our bumps, not as bad as some, and as a result, we've been fortunate enough to be able to continue our plans for growth. And that's pretty much tied to the fact that we are a technology company. We work in technology and healthcare, and as a result, we've been able to do that and continue our plans, big plans for growth. That's why we've been pretty excited when Adrian, Corson, and Andrew contacted us to see how they could help. And we said, yeah, we love help, any help, let's do it. And they put in front of us the Kansas PEAK Act, which is promoting employment across Kansas, and it allowed us to really look at being more committed about growing our workforce here in Wichita with 16 software and software development related positions, which is really great for the city, for us, and appreciate them linking us up with that and walking us through it. They really did hold our hands. Keycentrix, some of you might know or might not know, Keycentrix has been around 40 or more years in our area, in different shapes and sizes, and in these last few years we've been able to really grow. And what we do is we provide software for pharmacies, and we serve about 1,000 pharmacies across the country, most of them out of state. And that makes us not doing a lot of business in state, but certainly a lot of business outside of the state. And as a result, we're one of those Kansas employers that, brings outside state money into the economy. So we're proud of that, and we want to be here. We love Kansas, we love Wichita, it's our home. We're proud of it, and we're just trying to make you guys proud. So we're really humbled, if you will, that Councilman Johnson came and Mayor Whipple came and gave us an opportunity to really thank all of the partners across the business, government, and educational sectors that really have supported us, and look forward to having that continued support as we go down on phase 2 and 3 of our growth. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Andrew Thank you, everybody.
Well, good morning. As Luis said, my name is Andrew Nave. I'm the Executive Vice President for Economic Development of the Greater Wichita Partnership. And Luis, thank you to you and your team here at Keycentrix for allowing us to support and be a part of really your growth and your growth story. We often work with companies across our region that are growing and expanding, and not often do we get to work with companies that have your innovation and your technology that you're driving here, the heritage and the history of this 40-plus-year-old company that you've been leading, and certainly the caring culture that is emblematic of the employees and the folks that we've met here this morning. So thank you. We think that is really what's been driving your growth, and if these programs are assisting, that's even better. We were pleased to come alongside the Kansas Department of Commerce, which is our lead state agency that helped with the PEAK program and other programs, and so it's definitely a partnership. But another entity that I know that Keycentrix is heavily involved in and leading in is external to just the good work that happens here in this company, is with Flagship Kansas.Tech. Keycentrix is one of the founding members of Flagship Kansas.Tech, and that is a vitally important industry association for the tech sector in not only Wichita but across our state, expanding and growing any of our economic sectors. We have 7 sectors that the Greater Wichita Partnership and many of our regional partners are trying to advance. Healthcare and technology are 2 of those, but it's always better, it's always most successful when our private sector business leaders lean into that conversation and guide those conversations, which is exactly what's happened with Flagship Kansas.Tech. So Luis, thank you for your leadership role there. And again, thank you for the growth here. You could have chosen to grow and expand your company anywhere, and we appreciate you doing it in Wichita. So thank you, sir.
Get my earrings in order from my mask wardrobe function. So good morning, I'm Sherry Utash. I have the pleasure to serve as the president of WSU Tech, and very happy to be here this morning to congratulate Luis and the team at Keycentrix on the growth of their company. And we want to thank them for choosing Kansas to be a place to grow, and particularly Wichita, as they continue to grow their business and diversify our economy here in Wichita. So big congratulations to them. I've known Luis for a long time. He's a true entrepreneur, he's a true innovator, and he's truly a gem of the fabric of the city of Wichita. I want to thank the state of Kansas for providing opportunities like this PEAK Act that encourage companies to grow and to help differentiate our economy, not only locally, but across the state. And a big thank you to the Greater Wichita Partnership. They are an incredible piece of the fabric of this city and the development, and I want to recognize the opportunities that they continually find and work towards to grow our city and our region. I have long believed that the best way to grow an educated and trained workforce that can be globally competitive and create economic diversity and economic prosperity for our city, for our region, and our state is the intersection of government, business and industry, and education. This is truly that moment. And so I look forward to many more moments like this in the future of that intersection. But a big congratulations to you and your team. And please know, at WSU Tech, we are poised and ready to help you have an educated and trained workforce for today, tomorrow, and the future. Congratulations.
That was a perfect segue into just my final remarks. Again, want to thank everybody for coming together for this. Thank our partners, and just highlight WSU Tech has been doing some wonderful work in this community as far as building that foundational workforce for all of our companies here. The partnership has been doing a great job, as you heard from Luis, about reaching out and again helping us to diversify our economy. So we're grateful to have partners like that. And last but not least, congratulations once again to you, Luis, on your expansion, growing those jobs here in the city of Wichita. We do look forward to continuing to diversify our economy and working to expanding not only our skilled workforce, but our market share in the technology industry. So myself, the mayor, fellow council members are all dedicated to diversification and growing Wichita's place as the Silicon Valley of the Plains. But we want to ensure that employers know that Wichita is open for business, and hopefully that we are sending that message. So with that, again, congratulations to Luis. I'd like to pass it on to Mayor Brandon Whipple to give some updates on city business.
So the problem sharing these press conferences or updates with Councilmember Johnson is that the microphone is now, I think, at my eye level. Like it doesn't look like I can adjust it. So yeah, I'm normal height. Johnson, though, is very tall. So apologize for that ahead of time. Really just thank you to all of our community partners who are out here today, to all the great work that you guys do in our community to make Wichita what it is. It's amazing to be able to come out and not only hear about what's happening in our community, but be in a space like this. You know, be out in District 1 and seeing a space like this that is expanding in its opportunities, and doing so that it's aligned with our education community, with our local government, and with the demands of the free market. With that, I'm going to get into some of the other stuff happening in our city that we know about. Right now, we are, of course, well, first I'll give a update on our Diversity Council. As everyone knows, I think it was a few weeks ago, Johnson and I formed a council that is focused on diversity, inclusion, and civil rights, and we are currently working with Wichita State's public policy and management department so that we can help bring, I guess, a more concrete guidance and purpose to this committee, and we are wrapping up. I think next week we'll have a pretty good blueprint moving forward on what the different functions of the committee and what we will be doing on action steps. So that is progressing along. We are working. Wichita State has been a great partner in this to ensure that we are getting the most out of our time, and we look forward to putting this into action. And one of the interesting things is we've learned that other cities our size have implemented these type of councils in their cities and have shown great success with it. So Wichita, we want to follow in that tradition of success and ensure that Wichita continues to be a place of opportunity for everyone. And so that work is being done and it's forthcoming as far as a blueprint, and I look forward to talking about that next week. Also, we wanted to touch on COVID-19, of course, as everyone knows and as everyone is showing. In this space right now, we have a mask ordinance in place. We are coming up on, I think, very close to the 4th week where our mask ordinance has been in place. What we have heard from the mayor of Austin and some other cities is they start to see improvement with the COVID numbers after about 3 weeks. According to the CDC, we're supposed to see improvement after about 4 weeks. What improvement looks like is we have, for the last, I think, 5 weeks at least, we have seen hospitalizations go up. And hospitalizations are really what I focus on, more than just the raw test numbers. It's hospitalizations, and also I focus on the percentage of those tested being positive. Hospitalizations have a real effect on our local community's health, because when the hospitals get overrun, then that's when you start to see preventable deaths, right? Where we have an ICU unit right now where not a high percentage of the ICU unit are COVID patients, but they're still running up against capacity or very close to it. And a lot of that, what we have to do is make sure that if we can help slow the spread of COVID, those beds stay open for people who have other conditions that might be turned away in other cities, as we're hearing from Texas and places in Florida, where someone shows up with a potentially life-threatening condition, let's say chest pains. They aren't able to get admitted because the hospital is focused on treating folks with COVID. They go back home and they wind up, that progresses into something life-threatening or worse. So one of the things we want to do is avoid that type of situation happening in Wichita, and that's why we're working very closely with the hospital community to enact policies that are designed to lower the spread of COVID. And I just want to speak briefly where it's not about the numbers of beds. I get a lot, apparently everyone on my Facebook, by the way, is now a public health expert, because I get a lot of postings about how, like, well, this number doesn't directly correlate with that number, and thus you're lying about everything. And usually they're pointing at, you get these data points that people kind of pick apart, right? And one of them is the amount of beds. And I just want to clarify that when we talk about capacity, it's not just, do we turn a cot into an ICU bed? It also has to do with staff. To treat patients who are COVID patients is actually quite intensive. Staff put themselves at risk at hospitals of catching COVID, and also not only do they have to do the normal stuff of giving medicine and attending to the patient, but even some of the tougher stuff, such as actually lifting a patient up and rolling them over so that they can breathe better. So there is staff considerations, there is medicine considerations. For example, to treat COVID, we are still learning roughly what is the best treatments. And some of the medication, as you can imagine, just like PPE, just like in the beginning, testing kits, for example, some of this stuff is actually in high demand, and it's very tough for us to get some of the, or make sure we have enough of some of the medication. So when we're talking about capacity, we're not just talking about, let's say, the number of beds. It's more complex than that. And our goal is to listen to those who live this, who know this, and even if we don't fully understand all the variables they're looking at, because we might all have privilege to that information, to somewhat trust the experts on this, where, okay, we need to cut these numbers down or you'll be at capacity. So that is one of the things we're working on. Mass, we're hoping to start seeing some leveling off of the numbers. Hopefully, a consistency of that, given the 4th of July bump. We also, I think we're seeing that spike. And other than that, I will open up to questions. Chance, you want to sit right here? You can. Yeah. Nice haircut.
So about the jobs, what is everything going to be? All the jobs located in this facility. How high paying the jobs are these? How the state assistants help out with that?
Luckily, we got someone here who can answer that question in a lot more details than I could.
Sure. It's a nice binder.
Oh, thank you.
So, do you mind just repeating it just to make sure I caught all of it? Because
basically, what will these workers get paid? The 16 workers, what should their salaries be? Will the jobs all be located here? And what kind of state assistance, dollars wise, did the company receive for those jobs?
Well, I apologize for not being prepared with specific numbers, and I'm happy to get that for you if you stick around for a second. But just as a general answer, the 16 jobs are primarily software development positions. And so to give you perspective on what that means for them, those jobs usually bring, and will be in our case, wages that are significantly higher than the median for the state. And so if you had a number in your mind that you could, orbit, it would be somewhere around $75K and up, depending on skill, education, and position itself. So they're very high-paying jobs that we place individuals into, and we're very excited about that. And the second part of your question, I think, is, are they all here? And the answer is yes, 100% here. Did I get everything for you other than specific numbers?
Yeah, I guess how important was the state support to making this happen? Would it have happened without state support from the PCAC?
In part it would, but not in totality. And that just stresses why we use the word partnership, and not, the state letting us mooch off them. Because the reality is it's all of us coming together to some extent to make it happen. And so it was critical to get the targeted number but we would have seen growth in all openness to some degree without the state help. It just wouldn't be as fantastical or newsworthy. Okay, I'm gonna slide out now.
You gotta, when he starts writing, that's when you gotta get out of it. So, one of the last things I'm gonna just talk about that I'll open up to questions, I don't want to forget this, is I'm setting up a meeting with different representatives within the community and our different levels of government to help figure out a package or the best way to using our toolkit at the local level to help our businesses that are closed because of COVID, particularly the bar businesses and the restaurants that the county order closed last week out of precaution. So that is something that we will have on Monday, and my goal is to get some of those folks in the industry together with folks who can help talk about some of the aid that comes from the federal level, some of the stuff we could offer at the state level, and we even invited members of the county commission to come and help us as well. So that would be something on Monday. My goal is to see what we can do to work together to make sure that we are helping our service sector the best we can. Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the news yesterday about the Wichita Lancers owner? Tell us what that news means to the future of that team, and is there any risk of the team possibly being lost?
I can't speak to much of the details beyond being in shock that Lou passed away this week of COVID. To be honest, I understand that he was a visionary of the team. He was someone who got things done. He was someone who I spent a very small amount of time with. I think I was scheduled for half an hour. I wound up spending over 2 hours with him, and he was someone who inspired me. So I am sure, and I have, just from my experience with Lou, I'm sure that if he was able to inspire me and so many others in a short time, there's probably people within that organization that he inspired with the vision he had who can keep that going. So I have no reason to believe that this will, his dream, his vision for the Wingnuts in Wichita won't continue. However, we all recognize the huge loss that Lou passing creates. Really? Okay. Creep away slowly then if that's all the questions. Thank you guys so much.